This podcast is for professional voice teachers to answer the question, how do I grow my teaching business and even break out of that one-on-one lesson model so that I can reach and teach who I want whenever I want. I'm your host, Allie Tyler, voice teacher of over a decade and marketing and business coach for fellow voice teachers. Welcome to the Voicepreneur Podcast. Well, hello, voice teacher. Welcome back to another episode of the Voicepreneur Podcast. So excited and appreciative that you are spending your time with me. I am very pumped to be talking about your ideal client, the amount of teachers who bring this up as something that they are clarifying, they are working on, they are struggling with. Man, it's everybody. I am raising my hand, actually. It is me too. Because here's the thing about picking and identifying and clarifying your ideal client. This work is continuous and you will get deeper and deeper into this. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like really hard to explain if you haven't experienced aha moments from this clarity. But when you do, let me tell you, you are going to be like, whoa, I understand marketing and business on a whole new level now. And that's really why you need to pick your ideal client, which is what this topic is all about. Why you need to pick your ideal client. There are so many reasons why you need to do this, but ultimately, this is how you market. This is how you sell. This is how you create products. This is how you make an impact. It literally all comes down to knowing who the heck it is you help. That's it. When you know who it is that you help, the helping part is actually really easy. The selling part is really easy too, but you got to know who you help and how you help them, like what you help them with. So I just want to backtrack for a second because, okay, we have so much to uncover in terms of limiting beliefs around who we teach. Because here's the thing, let's be straight up. I'm all about real talk. We all have to start somewhere. We all have to teach people, period, in order to learn, right? In order to learn what type of teacher we are, what we best help people with, what we don't like teaching about, how we help people, who we help. All of that stuff comes from just getting students. And that mentality of, I just want students, or I just need to get more students, is a very different mentality than I'm going to attract my ideal students. They're different. Now, I just want to meet you where you're at, because if you are in a position where you want to grow your business, but man, is it like survival mode right now and you need that money to pay your bills and you are depending on those paychecks and you will just teach because you just need to teach because you've got to make money to get by. Oh, I want to give you a big hug because I totally understand where you're at. I know exactly how that feels. I have felt that a long time. And my parents, a longer time, even longer. I have seen it firsthand. That's how I was raised, was just get students, get clients. That mentality, I totally get it. And I want to speak to this idea of really attracting in specific types of people. So if you are resistant, that is totally normal. If it is hard for you to do this, also totally normal. It's really hard to identify one specific type of client. Completely understand that. But it's really important that we do our best. I mean, I just want you to think about this for a second. Let's just say that you're like, you know what? I don't know if I really want to pick just one person. I can't just pick one person. I can help so many different types of people. So I'm going to help lots of different types of people. And you put together a masterclass. And inside of this masterclass, you invite all of your students. But then in the masterclass, the people that show up, it ends up being really awkward. You got that 7-year-old who loves to sing Disney songs. And then you got the high school student who's applying for colleges. And then you have the professional songwriter who loves to do, open mic nights on the weekdays. And you're like, okay, what can we work on in this masterclass? It's a little confusing. And like I said, you may love teaching all of these different types of people, But it is so much easier if you just hone in on one. It's so much easier. So real quick, there is a difference between your ideal student and your ideal audience. So this is marketing lingo 101 right now, okay? So ideal student client is a different person or avatar that you are coming up with because you are having an energetic exchange with them. You are teaching them in a private setting. And that means that they are going to take some energy from you. They are going to take time in your schedule. They are going to influence how you feel that day. Like there's so much that happens in that lesson, right? So that is an energetic transaction that's happening. And so that type of ideal student may be very different than your ideal audience. Your audience is a group of people who like what you do and probably want to learn from you. So your audience is your email list and your social media followers and literally just the people that follow you and are like, ooh, that is really cool what she does. I want to learn more, or I want to follow them more, right? They are not all collectively necessarily your ideal student, but they are your ideal audience because they are still curious and interested in what it is that you offer, right? So we don't want to exclude them. They're very important people here, but we just want to make sure there's a key distinction between your ideal student and your ideal audience. The reason why this is so important is because when you are creating different offerings, let's say that you are going to do a masterclass or you want to do an online course or whatever that's a little bit outside of your private lesson comfort zone, then you're going to be creating different offerings for different types of people, right? So different types of people have different problems. And everything in business is about solving people's problems. So this is why we need to get really clear about your ideal student, your ideal audience. Maybe you have an ideal audience for a very specific offering that you are creating, right? And they are different than your ideal student. Maybe you decide that I'm going to create an online course that is specifically for singer-songwriters, but I actually do teach those 7-year-olds who sing Disney songs as well. But I only do that, behind closed doors and in my private studio. You could do something like that, right? You could do whatever you want, but just know that everybody has very different problems. The amateur songwriter has different problems than the professional Broadway singer. The high school student auditioning for colleges has really different problems than the Ariana Grande loving 5th grader, right? So this is why it's so important to clarify who your ideal student or audience is. Okay, so how do we get clear on it? Here are some fun ways that you can get started right now in identifying your ideal student or your ideal audience. The first thing is that you can start observing your own students. If you are teaching voice students right now, observe what's going on in those lessons. How do you feel when you are teaching them? How do you feel before you teach them? How do you feel after teaching them? I mean, even as you're listening to this, I bet that there are 1 or 2 students, maybe more, I don't know, that you're like, I've been kind of wanting to let them go, or I'm not really that jazzed when I see that I have to teach them that day. Those are your cues, right? All of those little I don't know. Or maybe the opposite of, oh my God, I freaking love this student. Oh, I just feel so expanded and so creative after I teach them. They get me in the flow, right? All of that is so helpful for you. These are all informational little cues that you can pick up on as a voice teacher right now. So that's one way that you can get clear. Another thing that you can do is you could be thinking about what you love to talk about, what you love to teach about, what you love to learn about, right? We've talked about this in previous episodes, but this really encompasses what type of teacher you are and what you stand for. So reflect on that, why you're a teacher, what you stand for, what you believe in, what you love to teach about. That is also really helpful in getting clear on who the people are that are going to benefit from that, right? Another thing that you can get clear on is what comes naturally to you as a teacher. What do people thank you for? What are your students thanking you for? Or what kinds of results do you give your students? That is also really helpful when figuring out who your ideal students are. And then another tip for you is, who do you feel the most comfortable teaching and helping right now? So this is interesting because you may be grappling with the fact that your ideal student is not who you're currently teaching. Totally normal, right? Let's say that you're like, I actually really do want to teach professional singers. I feel like I have a lot to say around mindset and performing and stage fright or, something like that. But your current students are not those people. They're not professional singers. They're teenagers or they're college students or they're kids or whatever, right? And there's a little tiny part of you that's like, not quite ready yet. Maybe you just feel like you're like, I still have so much to learn though before I feel ready to teach those professional singers. I have a little bit more that I want to educate myself on or I want to experience as a teacher before I dive in there. That is also totally normal, and kudos to you for recognizing that, because I actually personally do not like the advice, start before you're ready. I could talk a whole episode on that, but for me, it's really about listening to intuition. Your intuition will let you know if you are ready to teach that person or not. And if you ever feel like, yes, they are my ideal, but I'm not there yet, that is totally okay. That is totally normal and awesome. So then you go back to the question of, who do you feel most comfortable helping right now? Focus on them. Focus on that ideal student. And you will start getting more confident and more comfortable with practice, reaching for the next ideal student. You see what I'm saying? So hopefully that will help you in your clarification of your ideal student or your ideal audience. And that is what I have for you, my friend. That is how you can get started. So please really think about this. I know it's not an easy thing to pick your ideal client or your ideal, audience or student or whatever, but you're not going to be successful with your business and marketing unless you do. I'm gonna be straight with you. It's just the truth. You just have to do it. You have to get clear on it. And when I say get clear, I mean listen to them, know them, talk like them, walk in their shoes, like be their best friend. When you really, really know your ideal client from the inside out, business and marketing is easy. It's fun and easy. So I hope that was helpful for you. If you ever have any questions that come up in regards to identifying your ideal client or just anything that has to do with your business and marketing in general, please come and join us over inside the Aligned Voice Teachers Facebook group. You can post in there with your question, and who knows, maybe you will get it answered on the show. Be sure to come and DM me over on Instagram at The Voicepreneur. You can find out so much more about what The Voicepreneur is and how to be a part of our community. And I hope that you rock it today. That today is a beautiful day in your business, and I am 100% cheering you on. Can't wait to see you in the next episode, my friend. Have a beautiful rest of your day.